Hey guys, hope you're well. Here for another court report, and as always, I do have all my donation links if you want to help out with dog care or, which is an interesting new tidbit of information, helping me out in lieu of Mindy getting a process server for ZDT. It's not officially been served, but you might not want to give me money because in a lot of senses, today I failed you. I came all the way over for a key court case that I totally 1,000% missed. So I want to make a key correction. I said in Reddit, because I assumed I missed it because I showed up at 8:58 a.m., that even though I saw ZDT's attorney walk into the courtroom, I did not see him in the courtroom. So I assume that he just didn't show up. Not the case. What the bailiff told me, I asked the bailiff at around lunch break what happened. Did D'Amato go up? The bailiff told me that, well, D'Amato didn't go up, but that his attorney went up for him. She could not tell me what happened. And not only that, but I asked the prosecutors, and they wouldn't tell me what happened. They're such freaking assholes. They would not give me any information. So, guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like an asshole, guys. I feel like a piece of shit, quite frankly, at this moment. I'm sorry. The reason, I do have somewhat of a legitimate reason, but again, I can't, when you fuck up, you fuck up. I fucked up. But the reason I was late, due to a misunderstanding, is because Mindy asked me to serve the restraining order papers to ZDT, and then when we found out ZDT wasn't going, we were trying to think, well, could he potentially serve the lawyer? So Mindy's boyfriend went up to the 5th floor at exactly 8:30 to see if ZDT had showed up. Here's where the misunderstanding happens. I assumed, dumb to assume, my fault, not Mindy's fault, not Mindy's boyfriend's fault. They were so charitable to me and cooked me, and they were really awesome people. Not his fault, my fault. But there was a fear that he had of being seen or recognized by Tony, and he did not want to go into the courtroom. I did not ask that. I did not say, hey, can you step inside the courtroom to watch the hearing? I just assumed that if I were outside, perhaps Tony was late, or perhaps ZDT was late, that I'd be outside of the courtroom able to serve him. Because if you do it outside the courtroom, it's more proof of service. You have a recording of it. You have a recording saying, here is this. Remember, you can't record inside court. You have a recording saying, here is me attempting to serve you. Here are the documents. Here is you potentially refusing to accept the service. So in the name, the priority, even though I want it delivered to you guys, priority is also helping your friends. So I know I'm going to lose money off of this. I'm probably not going to get any donations, and that's okay. But I wanted to help out Mindy. So any probably money I would have raised is completely flushed down the drain, but that's okay. And I flew out here from San Francisco, paid for a dog. Not a happy camper whatsoever. But Mindy, more so even than covering this, I think getting Mindy justice was important. And then I was an airhead by not specifying to her boyfriend, hey, can you show up inside the courtroom and let me know? They were just there. They weren't there to help me. They were just there to do the RO stuff. I should have asked, and they probably would have obliged, hey, can you do me the favor and watch like a hawk, because that's why I showed up here. And usually these things happen an hour later, much later than that. So it's bizarre for anything to happen right at 8:30 on the dot. That happens maybe 5% of the time, so unusual timing as well, unexpected. But I failed you guys. I'm so angry at myself. It would have been it was a 1-minute hearing from what I could gather. The hearings are usually always that quick. But I just feel like I suck right now. I hate myself right now, man. It's just, I'm sorry. I came all the way out here. I flew, paid all this money for the dog, and I didn't get you the information that you were expecting. So this is a day where I have exponential egg in my face. Unlike ZDT, I'll admit it when I fucked up. I fucked up and gave wrong information about ZDT. His lawyer showed up. I messed that up 1,000%. Unlike him, he'll never admit any wrong. The one time, other parts where he says I've been wrong, I've been accurate. But this is the one time I wasn't accurate. I thought he hadn't showed up. I assumed he hadn't showed up. Asked the bailiff. That was not the case, and the bailiff couldn't tell me what happens, and the flipping prosecutors couldn't tell me what happens. What likely happened, guys, I don't know what happens, right? But what is likely to happen is that ZDT probably got another continuance. I don't think anything else beyond that happens. So the curious thing is, did he enter a plea? I would say 80% likely he did not even enter a plea. You could usually get more and more continuances, and of course I'll be there in the future and be there right on time. And again, I showed up at 7:30, so I was actually outside waiting for ZDT, stalking him. Not really stalking him, just serving him papers, but I was waiting from 7:30 in the morning. I didn't want to go live because then he'd find out I was serving him. Now there's an awareness, and now at least I have an official service attempt. So you can try to serve 3 times. I tried to wait for ZDT. I tried to see him in person. He was scheduled, expected to show up to court. So at the time he was expected to show up, even an hour earlier, an hour before, I was there ready to give him that. So the good news is Mindy has 3 attempts to try to serve him. This is 1 of 3. So at least I made an attempt, and that counts as a technical attempt. You can't really serve the attorney either, so even if I got to the attorney, I couldn't have served him. But I don't know, I'm pissed at myself. I'm pissed. I needed to be on the ball, and I needed to say, listen, if I'm down here, I assume you're up there watching every movement. And that's not their job. He could have said no. I think he would have said yes. But I think, again, there's a fear of him being recognized. So that's not what happened. He stood outside of the doors, didn't know what ZDT's attorney even looked like. And he wasn't watching out. He was watching to see if ZDT showed up, to see if he went through another entrance. So it was a misunderstanding. You know, in the future, I'll be clear about that, and I'll make sure to mark, I want to help you, but I also want to not miss the motions I show up for. But again, nobody's fault, best of intentions, my fault alone. And I just feel like an asshole right now. I really do. So I'm mad at myself. I flew out here almost for no reason. Well, we got 1 service attempt, so that's good, right? If nothing else. There's so much, again, I'm so livid at myself and out of sorts because of how I messed up today. But there's a lot of key information that will probably be used in the RO. And you probably know the worst of it, but there's a lot of key information that Mindy will use to get the restraining order against ZDT. ZDT saying, we must scalp and kill, referring to Mindy. We know who you are. And if you fuck around, you're going to get killed. He also talked about how he's gotten Nora fired from her employment, how he's gotten Vanessa fired from her employment, and that he could do the same either with Mindy or Mindy's mom. So direct threats on employment. ZDT is calling himself a psychopath, and then he remarks the exact apartment building that Mindy lived in. So he doxed Mindy, gave out her address, gave out the apartment name, and he says, you fuck with me, I'm gonna get you fired. And then he says, Mindy's mom is gonna cry herself to sleep because for every family member Mindy has, it's open season. So this is just a few of the videos that I saw. There's a myriad more. There's a lot worse than that. But this is the tip of the iceberg. And it'll be interesting. I will be there for that case. They might get a continuance, but I will be there. I was thinking about skipping it because it's just continuance. But I messed up big. I think I messed up the biggest way I've ever messed up, period, in my entire YouTube history. I feel like the biggest putz in the world. I'm going to beat myself up over this for the remaining month, probably. I actually hate myself for missing this. But I did. I suck. And I'm just furious at myself. But sorry, guys. I hope I didn't disappoint you too dramatically. And if you want to unsubscribe, I was an asshole today. I don't blame you. But other good news, Solomon got his RO officially 1,000%, or got the RO appeal that ZD took out against Solomon's RO against ZDT. Solomon got that 1,000% dismissed. So that's the good news. That's been entirely dismissed, and there's no recourse. ZDT's trying to say he's done some filing. That's been denied. He keeps doing these filings to try to prove to his audience that he's late. I mean, that there's something on the computer and that he's going through the motions and spending these. Meanwhile, he got a refund for a lot of the filing with Solomon after he knew that it was a done deal. That after he filed it, probably like a whole month late. So he'll probably get a refund with Henry too. So he could pretend he could spend it for a moment and just get it back in 2 weeks. So he could show to his audience, hey guys, I'm this loyal soldier. I've been spending this money in all these appeals, but then what he does is he files it late. He makes sure it shows up at the computer, and then he gets the money back. And so he'll probably do this as well with the filing fee with Henry. But he got his filing for the appeal refunded from Solomon. So that's refunded. So ZDT did scam his supporters of that money, and expect the other one to be scammed as well. So do I hate myself? Yes, but not as much as ZDT. At least I'm not. Was I incompetent today? Sure. Was I a piece of shit? Was I a predator? Was I somebody who habitually harasses people? No. So I guess I'll sleep at night. But today was my great failing. Flew all the way out here. It is my great failing. So I do apologize. And if you don't want to stick around with me, I get it. Today was not a good day for me. Not at all. But if you want to follow in the future, it looks like Mindy should have a court date mid-April, so I will be there, and I will be whatever the freaking date is, because I don't know, and none of the prosecutors will tell me. Assholes. Literally, like I went up to the prosecutor and I said, hey, I appreciate the work you're doing with Mr. D'Amato. I'm a reporter. Can you tell me? No! Cut me off mid-sentence. Just fucking pricks, man. And pardon the language. I have this anger just at myself and at the prosecutors for not just saying, hey, he got it. The prosecutor said, hey, he got a continuance. Great. That's all I need to know. He pled guilty. Great. But logic would have it. History would have it. Common knowledge would have it that he simply got a continuance and hasn't even pled yet. That's what I would say. But I don't know. We'll all find that out tomorrow. But again, my deepest sincere apologies. You know, when I mess up, I'm hard on myself, and I should be. And I'll be hard on myself for quite some time. So sorry to let you get down, guys, but at least Mindy is in the process of getting the RO, and I was helpful in that. So maybe that means something to somebody, at least to Mindy. So hopefully she gets this RO, and that was helpful. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.